Alright folks, good morning from the Philippines. I want to welcome everybody to this video, and I'm going to start out by flipping my screen around where I look at the camera, look at you guys instead of looking at myself and that screen over there. It's a beautiful day here. Been beautiful days. Of course, every day in the tropics is a beautiful day. Folks, I was browsing and I come across this interesting property. And for my normal subscribers looking for information on the Philippines, this has nothing to do with the Philippines. So let me get that disclaimer out of the way. I just found a very unique, interesting property for sale. And, you know, I've been talking about this island project, trying to buy a private island so I can host the Overstay Saloon. But, you know, I've been searching around for suitable properties, and I just come across something that is so unique. I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to share this with you guys. But there is a place for sale. It's located in Darby, Montana. Now, Darby is near or where part of Yellowstone is filmed. I don't know if you watch that show, Yellowstone. If you don't, you got to watch Yellowstone. Start at season 1 and just make your way to the end of season 3. Wonderful show. But the ranch, let me see if I'm saying this, the ranch that it's the set, like the main set. Now I know a lot of it's filmed over in Utah actually, but it's on a place called the Chief Joseph Ranch near Darby, or in Darby, Montana. So when you see the big barns and the actual Dutton Ranch, that's the Chief Joseph Ranch, if I'm not mistaken. And I read that in season 4, it's all supposed to be filmed in Montana, but previously it was shot in some other locations. I don't even know how I got onto this, but folks, just boom, check it out. Okay, I'll go to should be on the realtor screen now. There is a castle for sale, and there's a story behind this castle. When I first saw it, I said damn, this is perfect for the king. This is perfect for the Overstay Road Saloon, haberdashery, and bikini wax salon. Even better than an island. Plus it's in the United States, where most of my subscribers are. Most of you guys are in the US, so you could actually just get in the car and come visit me if I was living over at this spot. So I was looking at it and I was like, that is just too cool. But we agreed that there has to be a backstory behind it, because when you look at the pictures in this place, well, I mean, you can look at that photo right there, but when we dig inside of it, you're going to realize that whoever built this is a character, is an absolute character. And I did find one article that talks about the gentleman. So let's just kind of look at some of these photos. But it's right on the river. I think it's 12 acres, but you've actually got, now the moat doesn't go all the way around, it's just a pond here, but you literally have to walk across the water. That's the back of the house, back of the castle. There's your overview. Look at that beautiful river frontage right there. I mean, how can you not love that place? I mean, just absolutely beautiful. Over here, you've got like a five bay garage and a guest quarters over there. So see, this moat doesn't go technically all the way around, but it's pretty damn authentic, right? There's a little bit more higher view. Look at that river. Folks, if you've never been to Wyoming, Montana, some of the most beautiful places on the planet, check out that drawbridge. Okay, well, you got that huge door, the chains. I mean, there's a lot of authenticity in this place, and it's got like 118 photos. I'm not going to go through them all, but just look at all the detail inside here. Look at that suit of armor over there. This gentleman, and I'm gonna read you the story. I did find one story about him back from 2002 that kind of explains why he built this place. I mean, look at that. Look at that kitchen. I mean, This gentleman put a lot of work, a lot of detail, blood, sweat, and tears into building this spot. Now, we were kind of laughing, we're like, well, it's like $1 million property. The dude's got clothes hanging up in the middle of the room. But I'll put the link to this thing so you can browse these photos a little bit closer. That's an actual hand coming out of the wall. So the hand holds the toilet paper. But you gotta love it. But right here is what I thought was perfect. Folks, this is a bar. This is a bar right here set up, sort of an entertainment room. And I think what the gentleman said was at one point he was going to turn this thing into a restaurant and then gave up on it and just said no, he's just gonna make it his house. But this could be a perfect bar for the Overstay Road Saloon. I mean, how can you not love that spot right there? I mean, check it out. It is just set up, good to go. Got seating for about 6 at the bar. I mean, plenty of room to entertain. This room right here is an actual butchery room. You know, you can hang up your deer right there and process your deer in here. And I was going to show you show you the shower. And I know I'm clicking through here fast, but I'm trying to get to this is a shower. That's a shower right there overlooking the river. So you stand right there butt ass naked, take a shower overlooking that river. I mean, look at that view. My goodness. Now, this is funny as hell. You got the bathroom in here, the toilet, and you got an extra throne over there. Is that a fireplace? Wood burning fireplace? Yeah, folks. So just check out the link below. Look at that hot tub. So you got a full hot tub up there in one of the turrets. View of the river. Now, folks, if you're in the market for a unique place and you got an extra $1 million in your pocket, this place apparently went under contract from what I can see. About a month or so ago, and then it says it's back on the market. It is back on the market. Oh, and it also comes with 12 acres. Okay, I don't know if that's the guest house, but okay, so there you go. So I think over here is the guest house in that little area. Anyhow, too cool, right? So that's the castle, and there's. So I did some research. I said, all right, well, let's see if we have any media coverage. And sure enough, we do. This is from a year ago, and from a year ago, it was on the market for $550, and now a year later, it's up to $7 something. So anyhow, it started. The gentleman started building it in 1992, and we'll talk about that. But just check out these photos here. You know, just a different perspective. I mean, just look at the detail, how much work and detail this guy's put into making this truly a unique castle. There's the backyard. Okay, so to get into the backstory, all right, it's also on Zillow. Zillow's got some beautiful photographs of it too. And maybe I should have been using the Zillow photos all along. They seem to be a little bit better. I'll put those links down there if you're just interested in if you know, I've seen a lot of castles for sale. I've been in some castles around the world, but just the detail and the unique characteristics of this place, I thought it was worth sharing with you. All right, so let me get out of there and go to this article. All right, so we were talking about, you know, whoever built this had to be a character. So I just did a Google search. I found this one article. It's called Going Medieval. Now it's from August 18, 2002. And I'll put the picture of the gentleman there. And I guess back when he started it, he painted the castle, you know, pitch black. It's a gray color now. But there you go, Mr. Wayne Miller's castle on the West Fork of the Bitterroot River. Been 17 years in the making. Still a work in progress. The Lewiston native has done much of the construction himself without using blueprints. All right, so I'm going to read this article. You know, and again, folks, if you're looking for action-packed info about the Philippines, today's video is not that. It's just an interesting story about a man who built, a king who built his own castle. Now, I'm just going to make an estimate. I can't see the gentleman's picture real close, but I don't know. He looks like maybe he was 50 in '02. So the gentleman's probably 70 years old now. And I'm assuming he's still alive. Nothing here says that he's passed on, but he's probably 70 years old. And Mr. Miller, if you're watching this, shout out to you, my friend. But I just find your story interesting, and I'm going to talk about you. All right, so here's the article. A man's home is his castle, except in the case of Wayne Miller, whose castle is his home. Less than 2 miles from this small town and a few feet from the banks of the West Fork of the Bitterroot River, Miller is building his castle on the 15 acres and quarter-mile of riverfront he owns. It has a moat, a drawbridge, turrets, a dungeon, slave quarters, secret passageways. It's been 17 years in the making, and the end is not in sight. You have to understand, Miller says before opening the massive ironclad front door, this is a work in progress. The door swings open. You pass beneath a wrought iron security trellis that's in its raised position, walk over a trap door. What's a castle without a trap door, he explains, and you enter the world of Wayne Miller. It's a world of rock and timber and iron. There's a suit of armor in the living room and an old copy of Shakespeare's Macbeth on the coffee table. In the bathroom, located off the living room in one of the turrets, there's a small collection of antique toilet seats hanging on the wall. I thought it'd be neat to have a collection of them, Miller says, but I found out you don't just run across too many. On the other side of the bathroom is a dark room and has no windows, known as the Monster Room. Not because it's dark, but because 2 lit alcoves in the massive rock fireplace give the fireplace the appearance of a monster's head. The rock fireplace, by the way, is a 2-story affair with openings in the monster room, living room, and master bedroom. Forced air, wood heat, is the primary heat source for the castle, with forced air propane its backup. Miller says the temperature has to drop a little below 0 before he needs the propane to kick in. He says the fireplace alone weighs 330,000 pounds. Opening off the other side of the living room in a large half circle of an area is a spacious, ancient-looking kitchen crammed with hundreds of spices and hot sauces and a few modern appliances. Beneath one counter, a handgun is holstered and ready to be drawn, in case someone has a problem with my cooking, Miller says. Everywhere you look, there's something interesting collected by Miller from flea markets, yard sales, and antique shops. My house, he says, reminds me of a garage sale that hasn't started yet. Why is Wayne Miller building a castle? He gives a look like it's a silly question. Why not, he asks. I've never been one to care what other people thought of me, Miller says. He's a 51-year-old grandfather, thrice married and thrice divorced, the father of 2, a native of Lewistown. He is or has been a carpenter, contractor, chef, cattle rancher, artist, electrician, fashion designer, and small business owner. 2 of the wives have come and gone as the castle's gone up. I'm going to build, Miller says, a monument to myself out by the road someday that says 2 divorces and I still own it. An art major in college, he says he was afraid he'd end up a starving artist, then proceeded to go broke in the cattle business in central Montana. He struck out for California with $35 in his pocket and made enough money there working as a carpenter and contractor for about 5 years to return to Montana and build his dream home. I worked for an outfit in Watsonville. We built 357 condos, and every one of them was the same, Miller says. I got to wondering, the people who buy these drive the same cars and wear the same clothes? Every wall was beige. Everything was square. Everything was the same. I got sick of it. By the time he had saved enough to come home, Miller was sure of 2 things. The house he built would be unique, and since he was building it, it would be a challenge. There would be no blueprints. Every square foot of Miller's castle would be in Miller's mind, including the square footage, which is almost impossible to figure since so much of the house is round. With 18 turrets, 8 of them 3/4 turrets, the others half turrets. It's all in my head, Miller says. This place wouldn't work on paper. Many of the center-cut Douglas fir beams in the house, for instance, are 13 inches wide at one end and taper off by as much as 1.5 inches at the other. Notching each uneven beam, some as many as half a dozen times, so they all fit together, was the biggest challenge Miller's faced in constructing his castle. Every notch had to be just right, Miller says, and then they had to go together in reverse order. The first wall built was the last one up, and some of the walls weighed 5,000 pounds. Everything had to match perfectly. Miller is currently at work on a 3rd story to the castle, which will contain a library. Like the rest of the structure, it is being built as Miller earns money to pay for it from other jobs and works on it in the time between those jobs. He does lots of specialty carpentry work in the Darby area, most recently several projects on a ranch owned by actor Christopher Lloyd. He also runs an outdoor barbecue at the casino in Conner on Friday nights. The Friday before he was interviewed, Miller offered dinner guests a 21-piece salad bar, his famous baked beans, plus a choice of filet mignon or a lemon pepper shrimp, crab, and lobster stir fry, all cooked over charcoal for $6 a plate. The price is now a still reasonable $8. There's plenty to keep Miller busy, but even after 17 years of construction, he never shies away from the labor on the castle. Every second I've spent working on this has been a happy one. It's been a blast. It's a work of love and the joy of my life. Below the library on the 2nd story is the master bedroom and a solarium. The solarium, the only modern-looking room in the castle, contains 4 large, 3-tiered planters made out of old cattle watering troughs. The planters are on Lazy Susans and can be swiveled this way and that as the sun makes its journey across the sky each day. Each planter has soaker hoses and connect to a drainage system under the floor. Miller designed a cooling system so that if the temperature rises above 85 degrees in the sunny room, fans kick on and pump 52-degree air out of a subfloor. The old troughs, painted gold, are stocked with all kinds of exotic plants, such as lemon begonia, also known as the mosquito plant, which produce citronella. Miller doesn't buy a mosquito repellent, he just snaps off a leaf and rubs it on his skin to keep the bugs at bay. It's funny what a guy gets interested in as he gets older. When I was younger, I never thought I'd be interested in this stuff, but he shrugs, looking over the hundreds of plants he carefully tends in the solarium. Although it's equipped with the watering system, Miller hand waters the plants. Some take more water, some take less, he explains. Some like water on their leaves, some don't. 2 of the 3/4 turrets are located in this room. One houses a hot tub that overlooks the river. The other is called the conservation turret, where guests can sit and look out at Trapper Peak. The master bedroom, which overlooks the river, is typical of Miller's castle. It's not finished. The floor is still plywood. The jacuzzi hasn't been rocked in, and one of the 4 turrets in the room is a makeshift closet that will eventually house a circular staircase to the library. Yet there are things to marvel at too. With the push of Miller's arm, a large wall holding, among other things, a television swings 180 degrees to reveal a half circle of a closet with several shelves for clothes. Above the shelves will go around a clothes rod for hanging the ones currently in the other turret. With another push, the closet disappears from view and the wall with the TV is back in place. Miller has sawed off several old books near their binders and will build a sliding cover for the TV because you don't want an exposed TV in your castle. It ruins it. Balancing the flat TV wall and rounded closet so it would swing open easily was one of the most aggravating problems he's faced as the castle went up. Miller says, but I like work that presents a challenge. The things most carpenters don't want to touch, I can't wait to sink my teeth into. Also in the master bedroom, the opening for the fireplace sits 3 feet above the floor. Why lay in bed with a fire going if you can't see it? Miller says it's typical of the thought that's gone into the construction of his castle. In this house, every square foot serves a purpose. I wouldn't change anything I've done. All 18 turrets, which make it look like a castle on the outside, have a specific purpose inside, whether they hold bathrooms, an office, coffee nook, circular staircases, jacuzzis, hot tubs, or rotating floors that lead to secret passageways. Miller shows us one secret passageway that goes from the house to his original garage. He's since built a separate carriage house, or what most anyone else would call a 6-car garage, but only one passageway is revealed. There are a lot of secret things in here, but if I showed you, they wouldn't be secret anymore, would they? He says. He's proud of the design. Miller's castle may exist simply because turrets are round. Round is the best design in the universe. Even the earth is round. If it was square, it'd be a hell of a hike, wouldn't it? The kitchen sink placed in a counter of one of the half turrets is a good example of what Miller is talking about. The counter is a half circle too, with a U-shaped open area in the middle to get to the sink. A straight counter here would deliver a space about 7 feet long. Rounding it in a turret doubles the space. This turret is off to one side of the kitchen near the dining room table, and it's also where the dishwasher and trash compactor are located. The rounded kitchen is 21 feet from one end to the other, with the refrigerator on one side and the oven and microwave on another. Yet, because it's rounded, I'm only 2 or 3 steps away from anything, Miller says. Originally, I was thinking this would be a restaurant when I was done. That's what was in my mind. He abandoned that idea long ago, and now just calls it home. Miller widened the approach to the road that leads several yards to his moat and bridge to accommodate highway gawkers, river rafters, also occasionally pull up on the other side of the castle to stare. On this day, a raft with 3 people on board noses into an eddy on the West Fork to take in Miller's unusual dwelling. After gazing for a while, they open lunches and begin to eat. Watch this, Miller says. I'll shoot some music out to them. He punches a few buttons on the stereo in his living room, firing up outdoor speakers, and cranks up the volume of the classical music he often plays for himself. Immediately, all heads in the raft swivel again to stare at this castle in a Montana forest. It's not just a castle. It's a castle that's painted pitch black. There's nothing ominous in the color scheme, however. The current castle walls sit a couple inches back from the outside edge of the foundation, which took 120 yards of concrete to build, by the way, leaving room for Miller to rock in the outside of the castle. Of course, that'll take several tens of thousands of dollars, he says. He figures he has $1 million invested in his home already and says, believe me, I've never had that much money all at once. I don't have a trust fund. I didn't inherit anything. I just do things as I can afford them. He says he could talk for 2 days about all the things he still wants to do to the castle. Medieval looking doors in the 6 bays of the carriage house, a sculpture of 2 knights in battle, one on a horse that's dropped to its knees. Near the moat, water would flow from the knight's wounds and horse's nose and become part of the circulating system for the moat. Most ambitious perhaps, Miller has plans to add a grand room off the master bedroom on the 2nd floor that would feature a rounded ceiling. He wants a rounded ceiling so he can recreate Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. I can do it, he says. For some reason, you don't doubt him. And now, the best thing about Miller's castle, it can be your castle. For $1.1 million, Miller will part with his home and everything in it, right down to the antique toilet seat collection. If they don't want my clothes, I'll burn them. Bruce Gardner of Montana Westgate Realty in Hamilton has the listing. Certainly the most unique I've had the pleasure of representing, he says. When he surveyed the castle before listing it, he tried to estimate its square footage. In his notes, he says he has 2 figures, one of a little more than 4,000 square feet, another of a little less than 6,000. The official listing says the square footage is not available, but he feels safe in saying it's 4,000 square feet or more. It's been on the market for a year and no one has looked at it yet. That's fine with Miller. I don't care if I sell it. When it does sell, I'm retired. If it sells tomorrow, that's fine. If it sells 10 years from now, that's fine. Really though, I think I'd rather finish it. He may have to. The market for unfinished castles is evidently small. But you know, Gardner says, Wayne, for all his malarkey, is relatively lucid. He told me he visited a castle that was for sale when he was in California, and the ceilings were less than 6 feet high. He said it was a huge castle, but you had to bend over to walk anywhere because it was owned by 2 midgets. Anyway, the end of the tale is that this huge castle with very short ceilings sold, and Wayne's point is that there's somebody out there for everything, including Wayne's castle. But if you don't have a line in the water, you aren't going to catch them. Now, some things you potential castle buyers should know. The moat is more of a pond and it doesn't surround the castle. The river runs just a few feet from the other side of the house after all, but it doesn't run the length of the castle on the roadside. The slave quarters, attached to the 6-car garage, is really designed to be a caretaker's residence and is quite modern. Miller built it too, and although it's just 480 square feet, his one-piece cabinet design that snakes around the room forms walls for the bathroom, cabinetry and counters for the kitchen, a closet, and walls off part of the bedroom/living area. Since Miller is his own caretaker, he rents it out as a studio apartment. The dungeon is really an indoor doghouse behind a grate that swings open in the living room. When Miller had a dog, he'd tell her to dungeon up and the dog would scoot into the cubbyhole and spend the night. The drawbridge doesn't separate the castle from enemies. Massive chains can raise and lower it, but the moat sits a few feet away, and if you raise the drawbridge, you can still stand on land. But he's got a cannon out there, Gardner says. It shakes the ground for 3 miles and sets car alarms off. The neighbors call the cops to complain. They come out. Wayne promises not to do it again, and then a few months later, boom! If he didn't show it to you, maybe he's put it away for good. Meantime, the castle continues to grow, 1 board or rock at a time, 900-pound beams carried by hand to their final resting place. Miller says he doesn't think the price of the castle will rise as more parts are completed. A guy only needs so much money, he says, shrugging. Then it reminds him of a joke. Like the old cowboy said, I've spent most of my money on women and beer, and the rest I've just wasted. Miller laughs. I guess I could say the same thing, except I've spent most of my money on women, beer, and a castle, and the rest I've just wasted. When and if the castle does sell, Miller says the clothes go in a burn barrel. He'll buy a new rig to drive, and he's out of here to travel. I've seen every place in the United States there is to see, he says, but you know, I don't think I've met everybody yet. Okay, folks, and again, this article was written back in 2002. Okay, and the gentleman was 51 back then, so somebody do the math. He's almost 70, right? So he's almost 70 years old. All right, folks, that's the story. Just a quick Google search, that's all I could dig out, but I mean, you saw those pictures. What an interesting guy. So shout out to the gentleman for constructing this thing. And again, he's right at 70 years old now. Not sure why it's on the market, but folks, man, that'd be a perfect place for the Overstay Road Saloon, Haberdashery, and Bikini Wax Salon. Plus, it's in the U.S., it's in Montana, so most of you guys can just get in the car and come visit. I mean, I like the idea of buying a private island, but this place is about a whole lot cheaper than the 8.7 million I put on the budget for the private island project. We could just switch over to this castle, drop it down to say 700, could be serving beer in no time. All right, so thanks to everybody who's already donated to the project over on GoFundMe. Certainly appreciate it. We're on our way to building something. You know, I'm already shopping. I'm already shopping for a place to put this little saloon on, and I don't know, maybe this castle's the way to go. I like the island project, but That castle's in Montana. You can just get in the car, come on up there, spend the night, hang out on the river, serve up some beers, and me and Forrest G be waiting on you. The old lady, it'd take about a year to get her over there, maybe a year and a half. I ain't worried about that. And me and Forrest G would be up in that castle chilling like villains. I mean, what a great place to film. If you're running a YouTube channel or needed a set for something, all those different rooms in there with the river. I mean, there's so many settings and so many places to film. I don't know why somebody in the movie business, the YouTube business, something don't snatch that place up. But that would, if I was gonna try to set up shop in the U.S., that'd be a place to do it right there. Overstay Road, the Overstay Road motherfucking castle. Alright folks, just thought I'd share that with you. Interesting story, interesting property. Not sure why it's back on the market, but if I had to guess, there probably ain't no bank gonna finance that property. Maybe they are, but how do you get a comp? How do you appraise that place? There ain't no fucking comps. There's not like you go 3 miles down the road, oh, here's another castle, so you know, we need 3 comps. Who knows what the story is? But hey, if you're not familiar with the Overstay Road Saloon project, just check out that GoFundMe link down there at the bottom. If you're not subscribed to my channel, bottom right hand corner of your screen, hit that Overstay Road sign. Get on board my train, I certainly appreciate it. But yeah folks, just hope you enjoyed this story about an interesting dude. Shout out to Mr. Miller, man. I'd love to carry on your legacy if me and my backers decide to change from an island to a castle. I mean, it could happen. I'm a king. I need a castle. King needs a castle. Might just scoop that up from you. Alright folks, peace out. I'll see you on tomorrow's video, whatever that may be. Hope you're having a great day, great morning, wherever you're at on this wonderful planet we call Earth.